the sake of your time. Okay, so I want to go over Eurocad. Now, follow me. First things first. I've been running into a lot of traders, and they have their own styles of trading, and I'm okay with that because not everybody's going to see the same thing in the market. And on top of that, people there's so many strategies because there's multiple time frames and there's multiple things to look at while you're on these time frames. So when you mature past a certain level and you've been trading for so long, you realize every strategy works. It all depends on the person that's using the strategy, and then it all depends on their psychology and how they tweaked it, right? So for me to see somebody doing something that I wouldn't do doesn't mean that that they don't know how to trade. So because what it is we have a lot of people out here and they use this word retail a lot. They say trend lines. This is retail. Trading candlestick formations like bearish engulfings, bullish engulfings, M's that you see that M right there, and W's, the W that you see right there, or you see W's all the time in the market. They say that that's retail. What they're trying to say is that the boogeyman, your broker in the market, is out to get people that trade retail style. And me trading for 2 or 3 years now, that could be no further from the truth. You got to think of it this way: if I'm New Zealand and I'm against you, the dollar, my job is to push you down to 68 cents. Your job is to push me down to push me up to 72 cents. Anything that happens in between ain't got nothing to do with, like, we ain't worried about people putting buys and sells in. No, I want you at 72 cents. You want me at 68 cents. And again, this is theory, just like everything else is pretty much theory. It's theory that trading with the trend. See, they even said that trading with the trend is retail. I'm looking with my own observation with my eyes. If I would have put a sell right here and a sell right here, there would have been a double top off this area, drop, pull back to the previous low, because they said that's retail too, trading lows and highs and stuff. Sell, pull back again, another double top, sell. Now we right here, pull back to the previous low, sell. So I can see with my own eyes, and I've been trading like this for a long time, and it works for me. So when I hear somebody say that these things are retail, all they're pretty much telling me is they don't know how to trade this way, and they never figured it out, and they heard somebody else say it's retail, so they never even gave it a chance. That's all they're telling me. So with that being said, let's go over Eurocad. So I put all the points right here to show you that the market moves in the three ways. Either it's ranging, either it's on a downtrend, or it's on an uptrend. So right now we have a triple top that happened, and then we did have a nice little support after this W was made and it pushed up. And if you look on here, you can see it better. The sharp moves, and see when you put these lines in, it takes all the wicks away, so all the noise is gone, even though you can't see that this touched right there. So it wicked, double top, higher high. Look, it made a higher high, but this was a lower high than that high. So obviously it wasn't trying to make a high anymore. It dropped. Made a lower low right there on the trend line. Then it made a lower high exactly where this one was at. Did not make it, drop. Came back again, made a higher high on and where the lower low at, made an M. You guys don't like trading M's. It made an M and dropped. Now let me tell you, there's another M right there and it dropped, and there's the neckline that broke. The thing about M's, W's, and these things that they say that retail traders trade, don't get stupid and start trading every M and W you see. They have to be on levels. This M is on the weekly. I didn't trade the M on the hour. I don't trade M's on the hour and the 15 all day. They right. You'll be liquidity at that point. But see, if you knew to trade M's on your order blocks, on your support and resistance, on your key area, then you'll be good. Because some people will look at this M like that's retail. It's gonna go back up, and it actually didn't. And the funny story is, I showed a picture before all this happened. I had a picture right here, and all you saw was just this M. And at this point right now, I was making an M, and I showed the picture of like after the confirmations on lower time frames, we're gonna have a lower low happen, getting to the sell. And somebody said on the weekly, he was like, only retail traders put trend lines in and trade M's and W's. You're gonna be liquidity. What he was trying to say is this move right here. See this wick? Let's try to take this off. You see this long wick right here? It wicked one more time, and people will call these liquidity grabs, and then it dropped. If you want to call it a liquidity grab, call it whatever you want to. But price action wise, us price action traders, this is the last retest of this area. Because again, it's euro versus Canadian. I'm euro. I'm trying to push the price the other way, and Canada is trying to avoid you pushing the price that way and put it their way. So there's going to be wicks. That's what the wicks are. They're rejections from. So basically, euro was like, no, I want to push it past the 58.60 area, and Canada's like, no, you're not. I'm going to drop you. So this is a fight between banks. What it really is, before all the theories come in that, oh, this is liquidity, this is the blah blah blah. Price action is king, and it always has been. It's like, even these guys going around saying trading price action is retail. At this point, if you say that all this stuff is retail, then how are y'all trading? But you know what? That's none of my business. I only worry about concerned about how I'm trading, and it works for me. So I ain't trying to have these arguments with y'all. So here we are with euro. We have the trend coming perfectly. So I'm waiting for it to get about right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. I'm waiting for it to get about right here, right? Either there or to the trend line. Either or. And when it gets there, I'm going to go to the fractals because we got fractal on the whole trend line. If it gets right there and it makes a weekly fractal, because I trade off the weekly and daily, I won't be looking at lower time frames that much. So once it gets right here for the week, probably at the end of the week, it might get down there. Canada might push euro down. I can see it pushing down there. All right, so once it gets right there, so we're looking at about, let's take this off. We'll remove, removed all the drawings, but I know what I was looking at. Let's do this again. So right there, that's where it broke. All right. So once it gets about right there, and that other line I had was somewhere else. So once it gets about right there, right, in this area, what I'm looking for in this area or a little bit below or whatever, is it for it to do exactly what it's been doing. Come back and pull back to the area where it was previously broken. Because if you noticed, let's take the fractals off for a moment. If you notice, these areas, the previous areas that it always tries to come back to the previous area that was broken. See how many bounce? And then right here, people probably tried to put buys in, but it was ready to break. It broke it, retested the area that it broke, and dropped down and made a floor and pulled back to the area again and made an M that y'all don't like trading and then made the lower low. And then it got to a pullback zone right here. And it pulled back and made another M and looks like it's making a lower low. So let's follow the trend, retail trader wise. If it comes back right here and pulls back, it makes what it is, what an M is bearish incentives. It's a bearish behavior. It's not a bullish behavior. So that's all it is. I know people be saying retail this, retail that, whatever. If it makes bearish behavior, then it's just gonna continue. And the market is very mechanical. The market is very mechanical, very much so. That's why people put trend lines up. That's why people like me put the trend lines up and stuff, because it's mechanical. We realize how mechanical the market is. Some people just didn't realize how mechanical the market is. I forgot where I had this at. I figured out, ain't no big deal. Somewhere right in that area. The market's very mechanical. Now, if this wanted to turn around weekly wise, not saying this is the exact move that's going to happen, but what I'll be looking for, let's say this move happens, and then it comes back and it breaks this area. So it comes right here. Let's come to this. And then it comes down a little bit again and then breaks this. Comes back to this trend line, retest this, breaks this trend line and this last low. And then retest and start coming up. Now I'll be looking for buys at this point. Something to that extent. You've seen it before. Right. But it might just do this. So these are the moves that I'm looking for. And there's nothing wrong with trading like this because it helps me. I build up my confluences. Now, if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But don't come telling me that, oh, this is retail that don't work. Okay, buddy. It don't work for you. That's all that is. I forgot what line that was. See, even on the weekly, when it broke that, yeah, it broke that area. So the next area that I'm looking for is probably there. I'm always on the weekly and the monthly. I'm projecting these trades, and I'll stay in these trades for a while. That's what trading is. It's about patience. So let's put that right there. Bull. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it comes down there. If it does, it does. If it comes down here, this is a big demand zone. See what happened the last time it came up with big supply zone. Now, before I end this video, I want to show you Audcad. And reach set the chart. So we had TP smashed already, and I have to tell them that. So we put out this trade because honestly, it's obvious. This is a supply zone right here. This was the structural low. Structural lows are supply zones. Structural highs are demand zones. So this could possibly come back up and make a deep pullback to 91 if it wanted to. At this point, look at the move that happened after this. The Australia's bank gets in at this point, and you have a better chance of taking a buy off this area than you do a sell, because the bank, these institutions that I keep talking about so much, if you could just look at the candles and stop doing all these concepts and stuff, you'll see, oh, last time it got right here, Australia pushed it all the way up. So I have a better chance of getting my 3-to-1, than saying, oh, I'm going to put a sell in and let it drop down. You have a better chance putting a buy in right there. And it's okay if you even lose. If you lose and it drops, at least you had rules, and then you're using 1%. Nobody's perfect, but that's the move I'm looking at all. Like, where is that right now? We took a little nice buy this morning, and it hit TP, and we just rolling with that, and we rolling off the strength that Canada kind of weakened a little bit, but not on this. CAD Singapore, we were up for a moment, and then I actually put stop losses at break even, and I close it out right here. And the reason why I do this is this. I learned a long time ago. Look at that. That's 52 pips in profit. If your shit go to, excuse my language, if you go 52 pips in profit and it come back and put you in drawdown, don't nobody won't got time for that. Close that thing halfway, put stop loss at break even. The worst case scenario, if it doesn't go up and it's still telling me there's bearish incentives, you can always get back in the trade. It's okay to do that. Longevity of putting your stop loss at break even at the closing half of it doesn't hurt. I'd rather, and then you got to think about it. If you were 50 pips up on this move and it come and hit your stop loss, what a waste. What a waste to trade. So to avoid those stop losses that get hit that were up like 50, 100 pips and stuff, and then come back hit your stop loss, in order to avoid that part, longevity wise, close half, put at break even. Hell, I know some people that close more than half and put at break even because they'll risk 3% on this trade. So when they get up like 40, 50 pips, they up 1%, which is good. And they close that they up like no, I'm sorry, they be up like a little bit more than 1%. So they close it and it'd be like if it hits the break even or whatever, they already got 1% out of that trade. That is it longevity wise, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. So just a little rant and what's going on in the market. Before let's see, DXY came back. I feel like it's gonna drop once it breaks this trend line. The retail trend line. Let's see how retail this is. I'm making fun of them now, so we can see it better on the H4. So let's go to here, and then we're gonna take our little fractals 2.0 off. Yeah, so retail to trade trend lines, but each time it touched the trend line, what happens? Double top, come down, and then it got to this area, which on the weekly, I've been telling y'all that when it got to this area, what was going to happen? It was going to be big drops and then retest, but it needs to break the trend line. Once it breaks the trend line, it's gone, baby. We gone. So, I'm not saying that this is just going to drop. It could possibly push back up. When it push back up, we golden. And look at my gold. I'm so proud of gold. It's been sitting now. If it closes above this, this is a daily. If it closes above this, it's probably going to retest it and probably continue up. But the only thing with gold is weekly wise, we got this situation going on here. We got liquidity on this side, liquidity on this side. What are we going to do? We got to break out of this. That's why it keeps, this retail thing. Y'all don't like trading wedges either. Y'all said that's retail too. Boy, I don't know how y'all trade. But anyway, look at that. It's probably gonna come back up to this 55 and probably drop back down and get really like we're getting to the nitty gritty. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna find out. But with that being said, I'll see y'all on the next video. Peace.